Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Robert Rosas with Intera Chiropractic, and today's video is going to be focusing on specific stretches that you can do from home to help alleviate your sciatica. Now, stretches have been used for years, and studies have been showing some of the many benefits that come with it. Some show that it can improve performance, decrease risk of injury, increase joint mobility, but then also improve the blood flow going to the muscles. Now, I want to show you some of my top 3 favorite stretches that you can do that can alleviate some of the pain that you're experiencing from sciatica. Stretch number 1, the pigeon pose. This is a great stretch for hip mobility, but more specifically, it targets the piriformis muscle. That's the muscle that actually attaches from the tailbone or the sacrum and stretches across to the leg. Now, the sciatic nerve actually travels just underneath the piriformis muscle, and when that muscle gets shortened or it tightens, that can really cause irritation to the nerve and causing that pain that you experience. So we want to really try to loosen up that muscle to get more room for that nerve to travel underneath. Now, the pigeon pose, the way you're going to do that is you're going to be laying onto the floor and you're going to bring your foot in front of you and you're going to lean forward gently. Now, you don't want to go too much on this stretch because you can really cause some irritation to that nerve, but if you can really get some stretch into that piriformis muscle, relaxing that muscle, that's going to really open up some space for that nerve and it's going to take off a lot of that pressure off of that nerve. Now, you can do this laying on the floor, you can do this laying on your back, you can do this even while you're in a sitting position, but the goal is to get your leg across in front of you and you're going to gently lean forward. That's going to really help take off a lot of that pressure off of that nerve. Stretch number 2, the hamstring stretch. Now, this is a very basic stretch, but it's extremely important to really stretch out those hip extensors. That sciatic nerve also travels down the back of the thigh and through the big, large muscles in the back of the leg. Now, if we can just stretch those muscles and create some wiggle room, you're going to really take off a lot of that pressure off of that nerve and alleviating some of the pain. Now, as you do this, most people will do it in a standing position. You're going to be reaching down towards the floor. You want to keep that back as straight as possible. You're really bending at the hips and not at the back. Again, you're taking off as much stress off of the lower back, but really starting to target those muscles in the back of the thigh. Now, the other way you can do this is actually sitting in a sitting position, and you're going to put one foot in front of you and really stretch out the other leg. You're going to reach towards your toes and you're going to really start to target that muscle in the back of the thigh. Now, again, you don't want to go too crazy on these stretches, but if you can get a deep stretch into those muscles, you're going to really help to take off some of that pressure off of that nerve and give it some wiggle room to alleviate some of the pain you're experiencing. Stretch number 3, cat camel. Now, I really love this stretch because what it does is it puts motion into your spine. The reason why that's important is because anytime you put motion into the spine, whether it be through walking, through movement, or stretches like this, it's going to help to push out any fluid, inflammation, or swelling out of the spine and away from the nerves. Now, the sciatic nerve stems from the lower back, and oftentimes when there's irritation to those nerves, it's going to cause that pain that you experience down the legs. And so this stretch is going to be great for that. Now, I do want to make sure that I note that you want to focus more on the cat part of the stretch where you're actually going into extension as opposed to the camel part where you're into flexion there. The reason why that's important is because when you stress the disc, it acts like a balloon. If you stress the disc, it's going to go towards and bulge towards the area of weakest resistance. So when you go into flexion, what that does is it bulges the disc and pushes the disc towards the nerves, and we don't want that because that's going to lead to some further irritation to those nerves. Now, if you can go into that cat stretch, going into extension, that pushes the disc towards the front of the spine and away from the nerves. And that's our whole goal with this stretch, is to really take that pressure off the nerve, alleviating some of the pain that you're experiencing. Now, the way you do this stretch is you're going to be on all fours, and while you're doing that, you're actually going to push your belly towards the floor by rocking the pelvis forward there. Now, you're going to go ahead and hold that for a brief moment, and then you go back to neutral. Again, focus more on the cat part of the stretch as opposed to the camel. That's going to really take off some of that pressure off of that nerve by pumping out and flushing out some of the inflammation, getting that pressure off of those nerves. So that's it. Those are my top 3 stretches in order to alleviate sciatica. It's going to be the pigeon pose, the hamstring stretch, and the cat camel part. Again, focusing more on the cat stretch part as opposed to the camel. And so on our next video, we're going to be going over specific exercises that I give our patients when they suffer from things like lower back pain or sciatica. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you on the next video.